My sister panicked. "Wait, how did you find my secret notebook?" When I confronted her about the entries, I said, "Your therapist left it." When she realized her therapist had been reporting her homicidal fantasies to police, secrets became evidence. I, 29 male, have lived with my sister Natalie, 26, for the past 8 months. Not by choice. She lost her apartment after getting fired from her 4th job in 2 years, and our parents begged me to take her in, temporarily. That was supposed to be for 1 month max. Natalie has always been intense. Growing up, she'd have these explosive reactions to minor things. Someone ate the last yogurt, she'd scream for an hour, didn't get invited to a party, she'd spread rumors about the host. But my parents always excused it as her being passionate or sensitive. When she moved in, I set clear rules. Pay $400 a month for expenses, clean up after herself, no overnight guests without asking. Simple stuff. She agreed tearfully, hugging me, saying I was the only one who understood her. That lasted exactly 3 days. First month, she paid nothing. Said she needed time to heal from workplace trauma. She'd leave dishes until they molded. Brought random guys over at 2 a.m. When I confronted her, she'd cry about how everyone was against her, how I was just like our parents, how nobody understood her pain. But the weird stuff started about 3 months ago. I'd catch her staring at me. Not normal looking, this blank, cold stare. She'd snap out of it when I noticed and immediately become super cheerful. Started asking weird questions about my routine, when I went to bed, when I showered, if I ever took sleeping pills. Then my stuff started going missing. Nothing valuable, just odd things. My coffee mug, a pair of socks, my phone charger. When I asked, she'd help me look, then find them in places I'd never put them. 2 weeks ago, she started therapy. Our parents paid for it after she had a meltdown at our cousin's wedding. She wasn't in the bridal party and lost it during the reception. She seemed better afterward. Calmer. Said therapy was transformative. Yesterday changed everything. I came home early from work with a migraine. House was empty. Natalie was supposedly at therapy. I went to grab out ibuprofen from the bathroom and saw her door was open. She never leaves it open. Her room was disturbing. Pictures of me everywhere. Some normal ones from family events, but others were clearly taken without me knowing. Me sleeping on the couch, me cooking, me through the bathroom door crack. On her desk was a black notebook. I shouldn't have looked. I know that. But the first page I saw had my name written over and over in different styles, hearts and knives drawn around it. I kept reading. Entry from 2 months ago. He thinks he's so much better than me. His stupid job, his stupid apartment. If something happened to him, I'd get everything. Parents would have to take care of me forever. Entry from 6 weeks ago. Researched insulin overdose. Untraceable if done right. He's not diabetic, but who would check? Entry from 1 month ago. He takes melatonin sometimes. What if I crushed up something stronger? Would look like he just took too much. Entry from 2 weeks ago. Therapist keeps asking about my feelings toward him. Had to lie. Said I was grateful. Really wanted to tell her about my plans, but she's probably a snitch. Entry from 3 days ago. Found his life insurance forms. I'm the secondary beneficiary after mom and dad. Need to figure out how to change that. My hands were shaking. I took photos of every page. There were detailed plans, research about poisoning, notes about my schedule with optimal opportunity windows marked. Then I heard the front door. I put the notebook back exactly as I found it and went to my room. Natalie knocked a minute later, all smiles, asking if I wanted dinner. I said I had a migraine and needed to sleep. I didn't sleep. I barricaded my door and called my best friend, asking if I could crash at his place. Told him I'd explain later. This morning I went to the police station with the photos. The detective looked increasingly concerned as he reviewed them. He asked if Natalie was in therapy. I said yes. Just started 2 weeks ago. He made a call, came back looking grim. We've been aware of your sister for about a week. Her therapist filed a mandatory report after their second session. Your sister described detailed plans to harm you. The therapist has been documenting everything while trying to assess immediate danger level. I felt sick. Her therapist reported her? Mandated reporter laws. When a patient expresses specific, credible plans to harm someone, therapists have to report it. Your sister apparently didn't realize that. She thought therapist-patient confidentiality was absolute. They'd been building a case. The therapist had been trying to get more information while keeping Natalie calm. They were planning to act next week. But now that you've found this notebook and feel unsafe, we're moving today. Update 1. The arrest was intense. Police advised me to leave the apartment and they'd handle it. I went to my friend's place and waited. Got a call 3 hours later that Natalie was in custody. According to the detective, when they showed up with the warrant, she immediately knew why. Didn't even ask what it was about. Just said, "That therapist bitch told you, didn't she?" They found more than just the notebook. She had a bag under her bed with several bottles of prescription pills she'd stolen from our parents' house, including blood pressure meds and sleeping pills, copies of my documents, SSN, birth certificate, insurance info, a forged will template with my signature practiced in the margins, research printed from public computers at the library about poisoning and making deaths look accidental. But here's the truly crazy part. She'd been posting on some forum for people with difficult siblings. Except her posts weren't about dealing with me. They were asking for advice on handling the aftermath of a sibling's sudden death. People had been telling her she seemed to be planning something and she needed help. She'd responded that they were too weak to understand what needed to be done. My parents were called. They didn't believe it at first. My mom accused me of setting Natalie up because I never liked her. My dad said I must have misunderstood her creative writing. Then the detective showed them the notebook photos, the forum posts, the therapist's reports. My mom collapsed, like literally fell into a chair sobbing. My dad just stood there reading page after page, aging 10 years in 10 minutes. But Natalie? When they visited her in jail, she was furious. Not ashamed, not sorry, angry that everyone was overreacting. She called me from jail. I shouldn't have answered, but I needed to hear what she'd say. "You went through my stuff? That's illegal. Those were private thoughts. You were planning to kill me, Natalie. I was venting. God, you're so dramatic. It's creative writing, therapy exercises. The therapist reported you before I even found the notebook." Silence. Then, "Wait, how did you find my secret notebook? Your therapist left it." "What? That's not..." "She wouldn't. She's been reporting everything to the police, Natalie, everything you told her." The silence was long this time. When she spoke, her voice was different, flat. She said it was confidential. "Not when you're planning to hurt someone." I should have known better than to trust anyone. You've all been against me from the start. You, Mom, Dad, that therapist, you all wanted me gone. Natalie, you literally wrote about poisoning me. Because you made me feel like nothing, living in your perfect apartment with your perfect job, looking at me like I'm some loser. You deserved it. You deserve worse. She hung up. Update 2. Natalie's out on bail. My parents paid $25,000 to get her released. The conditions are strict. No contact with me, mandatory psych evaluation, can't leave the state, GPS ankle monitor. My parents want me to drop the charges. They've called, texted, shown up at my friend's place. The guilt trip arsenal is fully deployed. She's sick, she needs help, not jail. You're destroying our family. She didn't actually do anything. Think about her future. I'm not dropping anything. The prosecutor said they have enough to charge her with criminal conspiracy and making terroristic threats. The notebook, forum posts, therapist reports, and items found in her room paint a clear picture of intent. But Natalie's not going quietly. She's telling everyone I'm framing her. Posted on social media, before her lawyer made her delete it, that I was jealous of her healing journey and threatened by her growth. She claimed the notebook was fiction for a thriller novel she was writing. Some people bought it. I've gotten messages from mutual friends asking why I'm being so harsh, and couldn't I just talk it out with her? Then yesterday happened. I'd gone back to my apartment with a police escort to get clothes and important stuff. It was only supposed to take an hour. The locks had been changed. Natalie was supposed to be at her court-mandated therapy. She wasn't. She was across the street in her car, watching. The officer noticed her first. She wasn't technically violating the restraining order. It specified 500 feet, she was about 600, but it was clear she was monitoring when I'd be there. The officer approached her. She rolled down the window, all smiles. "Oh, hello, officer. I'm just waiting for my friend who lives in that building." Is something wrong? The officer wasn't buying it. Asked for her ID. Ran her name, saw the restraining order and ankle monitor. Miss Natalie, you're supposed to be at therapy right now, according to your bail conditions. I'm going after this. Your appointment was an hour ago. She stopped smiling. Are you stalking me? How do you know my schedule? It's in the system. You missed mandatory therapy. That's a violation. She tried to drive off. The officer called it in. They arrested her 2 blocks away. She's back in jail now. Bail revoked. My parents are furious. At me. They think I somehow orchestrated this to get her arrested again. My mom sent a long text about how I'm enjoying destroying my sister and how I've always been jealous of her beauty and charisma. Beauty and charisma. She was planning to poison me. Update 3. The trial date is set for next month, but things have escalated beyond what I imagined. Remember that therapist who reported Natalie? Dr. Reeves reached out through my lawyer. She wanted to share something within legal bounds that might be important for my safety. Apparently, Natalie wasn't her only patient who'd mentioned me. 2 years ago, Dr. Reeves had another patient, Natalie's ex-boyfriend Garrett. He came to therapy for anxiety and depression after their breakup. During sessions, he mentioned that Natalie had joked about killing me several times during their relationship. She'd apparently made comments like, "Wouldn't it be easier if he just disappeared?" And, "I know exactly how I'd do it." Garrett had brushed it off as dark humor, but it bothered him enough to mention in therapy. Dr. Reeves couldn't break confidentiality then because it wasn't specific enough to warrant reporting, but she made detailed notes. When Natalie started seeing her, completely by coincidence, she picked the name from insurance list. Dr. Reeves recognized the patterns immediately. The fact that Natalie had been talking about this for years changed everything. This wasn't a recent breakdown. This was long-term planning. My lawyer subpoenaed Garrett. His deposition was horrifying. Natalie had made him participate in games where they'd planned perfect murders. She always used me as the hypothetical victim. He thought it was weird roleplay until she started getting too specific. Asking about his chemistry knowledge, he was pre-med, researching untraceable poisons together, driving by my apartment to time my schedule. He broke up with her when she suggested they take out life insurance policies on each other, for fun. But here's what made everything worse. Garrett found out Natalie had actually tried something before. 4 years ago, I got severely sick after a family dinner. Hospitalized for 3 days. Doctors couldn't figure out what happened, assumed it was severe food poisoning. I recovered and we all moved on. Natalie had cooked that dinner. It was supposed to be her apology for crashing my car. She made my favorite meal. Garrett said she'd bragged about it once while drunk, said she'd tested something but didn't use enough. He thought she was making it up to seem edgy. My lawyer immediately requested my medical records from that hospitalization. The symptoms were consistent with ethylene glycol poisoning, antifreeze. Not enough to kill, but enough to cause severe illness. It would have been untraceable after a few days, which is why doctors never tested for it. She'd made a practice run 4 years ago. When confronted with this in court during a preliminary hearing, Natalie lost it. Started screaming that Garrett was a liar, that Dr. Reeves was incompetent, that I'd turned everyone against her. The judge had her removed. Her lawyer asked for a recess. Her new strategy? Insanity plea. Update 4. The insanity plea isn't going well for Natalie. The court-appointed psychiatrist evaluated her for 2 weeks. His conclusion? Personality disorder? Yes. Legally insane? No. She knew what she was doing was wrong. The notebook proved it. She'd written about hiding evidence, making things look accidental, avoiding suspicion. She researched laws about inheritance and life insurance fraud. She lied to her therapist initially, showing she knew her plans were unacceptable. The prosecutor offered a plea deal. Plead guilty to conspiracy to commit murder, get 7 to 10 years with possibility of parole in 5, mandatory psychiatric treatment. Natalie refused. She wants a trial. She's convinced she can make a jury believe this is all a misunderstanding. My parents hired her an expensive defense attorney. They took out a second mortgage. They're still convinced this is all fixable, that their baby girl just needs help. The attorney tried a new angle, saying I'd been abusive to Natalie. that her writings were trauma responses to living in fear of me. They wanted my psych records, employment history, past relationships. My ex-girlfriend Hannah from college came forward on her own. I hadn't spoken to her in 5 years, but she'd heard about the case through mutual friends. She provided testimony that Natalie had stalked and harassed her during our relationship. Showed up at her dorm, left dead flowers, sent messages saying Hannah didn't deserve me. I never knew about most of it. Hannah hadn't wanted to cause family drama. 3 other ex-girlfriends came forward with similar stories. Natalie had threatened all of them. The defense attorney withdrew the abuse allegation. But Natalie wasn't done. Last week, she managed to get access to a phone in jail. Still don't know how. She called my workplace, told my boss I was a drug addict who'd planted evidence against her to steal our parents' money. Said I'd been embezzling from the company to fund my habit. My boss, thankfully, knew about the situation. I'd been transparent from day one. He recorded the call and sent it to my lawyer. Another charge added: witness intimidation. Final update. The trial lasted 5 days. The prosecution presented the notebook with detailed murder plans, forum posts spanning 6 months, the therapist's reports and testimony, Garrett's testimony about past statements and the potential poisoning, physical evidence, stolen pills, forged documents, my medical records from 4 years ago, testimony from my exes about her pattern of threats, the recorded jail phone call to my workplace. The defense tried to argue it was all fantasy, that Natalie was expressing frustration through writing. They brought in their own psychiatrist who said she was suffering from severe depression and anxiety. Then Natalie took the stand against her lawyer's advice. It was something else. She started off playing victim, crying about how hard her life had been, how I'd always been favored, how she just wanted to be loved. The prosecutor let her talk for 20 minutes. Then he started asking questions. If these were just fantasy writings, why did you research specific poisons? I was curious about chemistry. Why did you steal prescription medications? I have insomnia sometimes. Why did you forge your brother's signature? I was practicing handwriting. Why did you tell your ex-boyfriend about poisoning your brother 4 years ago? She went silent. Then, he's lying. Your medical records show you purchased antifreeze 3 days before your brother's hospitalization 4 years ago. Her lawyer objected. Judge overruled. The receipt had been found during a search of our parents' house. She'd kept it in a box of memories. Natalie's face changed. The mask dropped completely. He deserved it. He deserves all of it. You don't understand what it's like living in his shadow. Perfect job, perfect apartment. Everyone loves him. I'm smarter than him. I'm better than him. But nobody sees it because he's there, taking up all the space, getting all the attention. Her lawyer tried to interject. She kept going. And now he's ruined my life over some stupid notebook. I wasn't really going to do it. I mean, maybe I was. He'd never appreciate what I sacrificed by not doing it. That's the kind of person he is. Selfish, making this all about him. The prosecutor, making his attempted murder about him? It wasn't attempted anything. Thinking isn't a crime. You poisoned him 4 years ago. That wasn't poison. It was just, I wanted him to feel weak for once, to need help, to not be so perfect. The courtroom was silent. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Guilty on all charges: conspiracy to commit murder, making terroristic threats, possession of stolen controlled substances with intent, forgery, witness intimidation, attempted poisoning, for the incident 4 years ago. Sentencing was yesterday. 15 years. Eligible for parole in 10 with good behavior and completed psychiatric treatment. Natalie laughed when they read the sentence, looked right at me and said, "I'll be out in 10. You better hope I find someone else to hate by then." The judge added another year for the threat. 16 years. My parents were destroyed. They've aged a decade through this. They finally accept what Natalie is, but they still love her. They'll probably visit her. I don't blame them. She's their daughter. But our relationship is over. They chose to enable her for 26 years. Even now, my mom says things like, if we'd just gotten her help sooner, as if this is about mental illness and not about Natalie being a genuinely dangerous person. I've moved. New city, new job, new life. Only my best friend and lawyer know where I am. I'm in therapy myself now, processing the fact that my sister has wanted me dead for years, probably my whole life. Dr. Reeves sent me a message through my lawyer. She wanted me to know she was sorry she couldn't act sooner, but she had to follow protocol. She also wanted me to know that in her 20 years of practice, she'd never seen someone express such detailed, persistent, homicidal ideation. She genuinely believes Natalie would have eventually acted on it. The detective told me the same thing. You're lucky you found that notebook. Your sister wasn't just thinking about it. She was building up to it. I don't feel lucky. I feel exhausted. I feel sad. I grew up with someone who wanted me dead, who tried to kill me, who spent years planning my murder, but I'm alive. I'm safe. She's locked up. Sometimes that has to be enough. People keep asking if I forgive her. The answer is no. You don't forgive someone who's unrepentant. You don't forgive someone who promises to try again. You just survive them. And then you move on. That's what I'm doing now. Moving on. One day, one therapy session, one new experience in my new city at a time. 16 years of safety. It's more than I ever thought I'd get. It has to be enough.